What is going on, everybody? This is the Undefeated by Choice podcast brought to you by Stillfist. It's fight week. It's time to get this thing going. I've been talking about it for weeks now. And I'm sure everybody just finished up their last hard practice today. Now it's all about the weight cuts on Thursday at Factum MMA. If you want to show up, go to the Stillfist page to find out, to look up the location, also the time. You can come out, watch the fighters. I don't know, make them feel famous, get autographs from them. Do it, make it a big deal. But, yes, this weekend, February 21st, Stillfist at the Union Event Center. I've been talking about it, the main event. Cole Schaefer, Nick Martinez did both their podcast episodes. Were really fun to do. I love both those guys. I wish them both the best of luck. And, yeah. It's on, baby. It's time. So I've been saying that I usually, when I start doing these, I'm like, oh, this one's going to be a short one. And then I end up doing like 45 minutes and no one watches because no one has 45 minutes to listen to me talk. But, so this one will be a short one because I want to go to bed. You might see some bruises or cuts or whatever. I got the lights on, so you might not be able to see them, but I got pretty banged up in practice today. Got a bunch of guys on the fight card, and this was the last hard day of practice, so I took a little bit of a beating for the team. But so I'm tired, and I want to go to bed. But I've had something that's been bugging me. It was bugging me before the event even happened, and I was going to comment on it, but I didn't. I didn't have time, and I didn't know really like where my place was in the whole thing, and what I should say. And then we actually had a tragedy happen in the MMA community. We lost one of our own, Colton Hildebrand. I don't know all the details, and I don't know how much his family really wants. They're still dealing with everything right now, and my heart goes out to them and the whole the whole community. I know I had multiple people talk to me about I had multiple people talk to me about it and reach out to me, and I know that everybody's thoughts and prayers are with his family right now. And so I don't want to focus too much on that topic. But yeah, a lot was going on, and with all that was going on, I didn't think it was my place to bring up this topic. But after I watched the Diego Sanchez fight this week, it's got to stop. He can't. He's not okay, and we love him because he just keeps going out there and he's put on some of the best performances of all time, some of the most memorable performances of all time, but he's not okay. I was watching an interview with him before the fight even happened, and I just was scratching my head thinking, like, why are we even letting him get into the ring? It is so obvious that he's not okay. It's so obvious that there is severe brain damage. He's always been kooky. He's always been a little off. He's always been a little weird. But this was, this is not normal. This is not okay. We have to, as a fan base, as organizations, as responsible adults, we have to know when to pull the plug. And these fighters don't know when to do it for themselves. They're all warriors. That's how they got into this, is they don't quit. They don't give up. And so it's the responsibility of the fans, I think, to pay attention. It's the responsibility of the promotions to pay attention to what's going on. This putting him out there it's dangerous. It's dangerous for him. It's dangerous for the sport. It's dangerous for everybody. He's not okay. I don't know if any of you saw it, but his antics as they were announcing his name in the octagon were so bizarre. And he's doing these irrational things. He left Greg Jackson's. He's got this guy he calls as a guru, is his coach, and he's bizarre as well, and it's so sad to watch. And this is something I take very, very seriously. I had a coach that got me into this sport. I was just showing up to the gym, hitting the heavy bag, taking a few boxing classes, and I had a coach who was up in the octagon who saw potential in me, and he called me up into the octagon and said, "You look like an athlete. I'd like you to come train with us." And Pat Reeves saw something in me, and he saw something in every one of us. I mean, we all felt like the Lost Boys, because he was just like picking us up, finding us out of anywhere, and saying, "I see something. Come train with me." And he took us all under his wing. He made us part of his family, and we were loyal to him, and we just we all looked up to him, and everything that he did, he'd do these crazy things, and we were just like, that's our man. We got his back no matter what, and we love him to death. And he saw something in us, and so none of us really knew how to tell him that we were, could tell something was off after his last fight. And none of us really knew what to do. And so we kind of he was just kind of showing up to practice, and he was still trying to lead practice and stuff. And, we were all, it was strange. Then one day he just kind of pulled us in and said that he's going to step away for a while. And at that time we definitely knew something was up, because that just wasn't him. And he just said he was going to step away from coaching for a while, and he wanted us all to look after each other, and he wanted us all to take care of each other. And it felt like a goodbye at that moment. It really did. It felt like he was there was something up, and that he knew it. And so he left, and we were in a little bit of touch with him, and then long story short, he ended up taking his life. And before he had taken his life, me and Eric Munoz had discussed and talked, and we both thought that he had CTE. We thought that he's showing a lot of symptoms and signs of CTE, and we actually mentioned it to him and told him that we think that because he was really confused as to what was going on with him, and starting to be a little more vocal about what was going on with him towards the end. And Eric, expressed that to him, that we thought that may be what was the case. He ended up taking his life, and we ended up getting his brain studied, and we got it sent to Boston University with Dr. Ann McKee, who's the foremost. She's the doctor of CTE. She is the one that studies all the brains. She's the one who studied Aaron Hernandez's brain, and numerous other brains. She's the one that finds it, and the results came back that he had one of the worst cases of CTE that we've ever seen. And it's none of us want to talk about it, right? It's so scary, and we're scared that it will take away our sport, this thing that we love. We're scared that it will hurt our ability to take this mainstream, and I understand that. I mean, no one's a bigger advocate of MMA than I am. Like, I love this sport. This sport has given me so much. I'm a part of the organization. I'm a part of Still Fist. I want so badly for this to succeed, but we also have to be smart at the same time. We have to understand what we're doing to our bodies. We have to understand what these things are, what the dangers are. We have to do this. We have to know this. I mean, understanding that this stuff exists, understanding that brain damage exists in this sport is not going to make it go away. At the NFL, at the beginning of every year, they get pamphlets about CTE, and they have to read all about it, and they have to study about it and make sure they know what they're getting into, even though at that point they probably already have it, but they have to be educated on it. And other than like one or two that have been vocal about it, they've just left because they were they were concerned. They all continue to still play. And I guarantee if it was the same for MMA, if you had to sign something or study something or understand what this was, most of us would still do it. I mean, I consider myself very knowledgeable in CTE. I've studied it, deeply because of the events of my experience with it, and losing someone very close to me that I loved very much due to it. And I still show up to practice every day, and I still spar, and I still take shots to the head. I mean, I'm not even taking a fight. I haven't even taken a fight in years, and I'm still showing up, getting hit. I'm very aware of what's going on, but I'm also very careful and smart, and as smart as I can be. It's hard to say I'm smart and also say that I'm putting myself in danger, but I'm very aware and cognizant of what I'm doing, and how my head feels and things like that. And so then I see these guys like Diego Sanchez, and it is, we saw the after George St. Pierre came back, and everyone was like, "Oh, let's set up the fight with him and Nick Diaz." And then Nick Diaz shortly did an interview right after, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's a little off. He seems off." And then they pulled the plug on that altogether. The conversations of that fight completely stopped, and I think it's because someone saw there's something off. The way he was talking, the way he was jumping from subject to subject, he just seemed confused. He didn't seem to really know, couldn't get a grasp of what he was really trying to say and the point he was trying to get across. And, thankfully somebody saw that and just pulled the plug on that altogether. We have to stop romanticizing these amazing fighters that have given us so much, and just romanticizing them just fighting into a late age and riding off into the sunset safe and sound. Like, we are damaging our own sport by allowing stuff like that to happen. This situation with Diego Sanchez, I will bet the house, I'll bet the farm that this does not end well with him. That it's going to get worse. It's going to get bad, and it's not just that he's a kooky guy and offbeat kind of guy. I was watching it, man, and I was watching his interview before he fought, and I was nervous. I was scared for him. I just, man, it's not okay to be willfully ignorant of things. You have to be aware. You have to know. You got to know when to fold them. You have to know when to turn it in. You have to be aware of what's going on inside of your head. And if you're not, you need to have a true stable of people around you who love you and care about you and are also educated. I mean, my family members, they don't know anything about CTE, and I am talking about it all the time. And they know a little bit, and so but they don't know like the signs and the effects of it, and so they'll just be like, well, you just stop training, just stop doing that. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's not really in me to just stop it, because I love it. It's given me so much. But I'm aware enough of what the signs are, and I don't see them. I don't have them. Now, do I think that I have it to a degree? Absolutely. I grew up playing football. I grew up hitting my head against other heads for 12 years. And then I go right out of that sport into another sport where I'm getting punched in the head. So, do I think I have it to a degree? Of course I do. And so I'm very aware of it. If you aren't the type of person who can just walk away from it, you need to support yourself with educated people who educate themselves on it. The only way you're going to be able to do that is by studying it, looking at it, paying attention, and being aware. There's not a lot of resources out there because it's such a new concept to a lot of people, and the NFL did a very good job at burying it for a long time. They knew about it long before it was made, public, to be public knowledge. They knew about it, and they wanted it to go away because they thought that their sport would disappear if people found out about it. Well, people did find out about it, and their sport remained. and but it's still like there's a lot of people. I mean, I talk to football players, I talk to fighters who don't know what it is, and that's scary. Because this is it's a very dangerous situation. So, I take it very serious, and I think we all should pay more attention. We should all educate ourselves on this topic, so that we can continue to do this thing, so that we can continue to enjoy this sport and be a part of this sport and build this sport and be part of these great moments of history of some of the most amazing athletes stepping in there and putting on display, leaving everything out there, in the just being willing to sacrifice everything to go in there for our entertainment, to be inspirational to us, to teach us that we can do anything, and if we focus hard enough that we can be anything we want, we can be champions. I mean, there's so much that you gain from fighting. There's so much that we understand from fighting, and not every situation ends in a terrible situation. Not every case of CTE ends in suicide. Not every case of CTE ends in these miserable lives. There's people who have it, and they have it to a small degree, and they go on and they have meaningful, wonderful lives, and they and it never really affects them other than a few symptoms that that we people will deal with worse every single day. But there are the few extreme cases, and those are the dangerous ones. Those are the scary ones. Those are the ones that make people take a second look at what's going on. So and for me, when I look at Diego Sanchez, it makes me very concerned for him and for his family and for the sport. It's not good. It's not good to keep throwing him in there. I almost feel like I'm just gonna put my foot and put my foot down and say I'm not gonna support watching any of his fights anymore. Although I love him, I love what he's done. I've loved the attention that he's brought to the sport. He's got some of the most classic fights. Man, Diego Sanchez and BJ Penn was one of my favorite fights I've ever seen. That was amazing. That was a fight where BJ's licking blood off of his gloves and Diego's just not giving up, and they're just battling it out. One of the instant classics. He's given us all that he has. He's given us everything that we've ever wanted from him. We should not be asking any more from him. We should not be asking him to step in anymore. And we need to show that because we love him, we're not going to support this to continue. Because, I mean, you just watch. If you didn't see it, just watch him being announced in the ring. Just watch those antics. Watch that sequence. And that alone should tell you something is up. Something is up. So, I know this was a sensitive, somber little podcast. But we need to talk about it. It needs to stop being something that's in the shadows that we don't talk about, that we don't openly discuss, that we don't support each other on. The sport's not going anywhere. I love it too much. You love it too much. We all love it too much. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to go away because people understand that their brains are getting damaged. We already know that. If you're getting punched in the head and you don't know that, you're not paying attention. You're not even trying to pay attention. You're being willfully ignorant, and that's on you. We know that it's dangerous. I'm not saying that we need to stop. But I'm saying there is a moment, there is a time when fighters do need to stop. There is a time when you need to walk away. It's the same as everything. It's the same as if a fighter had a bad heart and his doctor said, listen, if you go back in, you could have a heart attack. There's a good chance, a very good chance, a high probability you're going to have a heart attack if you go in there. We would all say, oh, then he needs to not fight because we don't want one of our own to die in the ring. We don't want to see that. We don't want him to, we want him to live as long as he can because we love him and we support him and we want him to live this great life because he's given us so much. it's the same thing. This sport's not going anywhere, but we need to be better. And I don't know how we get that out there, but we need to do better. We, as fans, as participants, as everything, we need to do better. We need to take better care of each other. We need to watch each other better. So that's my 2 cents. That's my opinion on Diego Sanchez and this whole situation. And of course, it's very personal to me, and that's why I'm so serious about it, and that's why I care so much about it, because I have lost somebody very close to me. And there's nothing we could have done about it. We could have tried to pull him out sooner, but we didn't know. But now we do. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. But with all that being said, like I said, the sport's not going anywhere. We do have an amazing card this weekend. I am so excited for these fights. We did lose one fight. I was so excited for the Cole Faust fight. That did fall through. His opponent, unfortunately, had to pull out, and they couldn't find a replacement in time. I know I believe he signed a contract for a fight later, like a month later, 2 months later. I believe so. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, that fight is no longer happening. But we still have the killer heavyweight fight: Kendrick Wolf, Bryce Scanlon, and I'll never get his last name right. I've known him for years now, and I'll never get his last name right. And then we have the main event: Nick Martinez, Cole Schaefer. Like I said, I had killer interviews with both of them. So excited for that fight. Really excited to see that fight. And Hayden Brown and Craig Grove. That, like I said before, I think that's gonna get fight of the night. We'll probably get fight of the night. I don't know. The Nick Martinez Cole fight is real close, in my opinion, of getting fight of the night. So, there's a lot of great fights. Those top 3 are the ones that I keep pressing, I keep pushing, because even if it was just those 3, it would be a killer card, and it'd be well worth your money. But then we have the added bonus of just a bunch of good fights on the undercard. We got debut fighters, and everybody, I've talked to a bunch of people who are in the camp with these debut fighters, and they've all been like, "Oh, this is their debut fight, but they're going to put on a show." Like their teammates are so excited. They're not, they're when you get in, when you can be real with other people, other people who are in it, be like, "Oh, I don't know, we're going to see, like, they don't really got this, or they don't really got." So, they're not BSing me. They're like, yeah, no, they're ready to go. And so, like, I know we have these matchups of these first timers, and both of them think, oh yeah, they're just going up against another debut fighter, and both their camps are coming to me saying, oh, you're going to see something special. So, I mean, even with these debut fights, I'm super excited, because I've been hearing a lot of good things about these first time fighters and how prepared they are and how ready they are to get in there. So, this is the time, man. Time's running short. Find your favorite fighter. Get your tickets from them. Go to stillfistfight.com and get your tickets, or you can buy tickets at the door. Doors open at 6. Fights start at 7. It's at the Union Event Center in Salt Lake City. You can look up the address if you don't know where it is. It's easy to find, easy to get to, right by West High School. You can find this podcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and YouTube, but these individual episodes are only when I'm just by myself and don't have an interview. They're only on YouTube. Please give us a like, subscribe, and a share. If you are looking to be a sponsor, I'm always looking for sponsors. Anything helps. Got to pay them bills. I'm a father. I need to pay for this little girl to get a good education and hopefully get a good job so she can take care of me one day. So anything helps. Sponsorships are always welcome. And you can find us on Instagram at Stillfist Fight. You can find us on Facebook at Stillfist Fight Night. If you're looking to get a fight, that's the place to find us, is on that. But that's all I got for you, everyone. I'll see you this weekend. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. I love you.